Hi everybody, today we're going to do a roller class. So carefully bring yourself down onto your mat and we're going to think a very similar pattern to the Blackpool donkey and the cat stretches that we would do if we were doing box position. But we're obviously going to do this using our roller. So begin with your roller about the base of your shoulder blades, there or thereabouts. And our legs are going to be nice and long. Clasp the hands together, pop them behind your middle skull, and whenever you're ready, allow yourself just to lengthen your spine, and then you're going to think about wrapping that upper middle back around the roller. Squeeze the legs gently together from your inner thighs. Pass through just a nice, almost neutral spine, and then you can bring your arms forwards. Keep thinking about that wheel visualization. This time the wheel is rolling backwards. And then we're going to come forwards with a little stretch. And again, clasp the hands behind the middle skull, feel for the roller, and wrapping up and around. Keep your tail very weighted. Now if you can, just keep the hands behind your middle skull as you come up and over. You can come up to fully straightened in between each if you wish, or just maintain your flexion. So wrapping around, watch that those elbows don't clamp too much towards the temples, reaching forwards, and again, keep that chin away from the chest, and wrapping around the roller. We'll just do one more. Remember, it's absolutely fine to have your hands in front like so. Wrap it around. And all the way down, hands behind the middle skull, and lengthen. Now if you feel really comfortable here and you'd like to add a little progression, you can take your hands away and just allow yourself that really deep extension. The arms could come over the head, arms come up, little bit of length at the back of the neck, and slowly lift it all the way up with a little stretch forwards if that feels good to you. Restack low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. Now you're going to pull the roller underneath you. You're going to sit on it like so. I'm going to keep this side view for now. And we're going to imagine that there is a ball in between our knees. You could always put a cushion, a ball, whatever feels good to you, and sit super tall. Now remember the visualization of taking the pistol or the wallet out of our back pocket, drawing the elbow back, and then we're going to switch, drawing the elbow back. Feel that middle back rotation. Reach and all the way back, reach. Now I'm going to give you a different view of this, just so that you really can get the proper visual. So from here, remember, we're going to have one hand onto the inside of the opposite thigh, and the other comes back. Use this arm almost to push against your thigh bone as the thigh bone pushes into the arm. You're growing taller. And again, reach. So I'm almost using my front arm as a little bit of a traction assistant, pushing in with the arm and in with the inner thigh. Now remember, don't allow your back shoulder to round forwards like so. It's not this. You're really trying to draw that elbow back, open the front of your chest. And we'll just do a couple more. And all the way back, grow super, super tall. And all the way back. And then you're going to pause and we're going to do a little bit of lateral flexion. So you could begin with your hands down, it's entirely up to you. Squeeze the imaginary ball between your knees. And you're going to just elevate slightly your hands, and you're going to feel those ribs parting on one side, lift and lengthen, and then part the ribs on the other side. So very gentle little lateral flexion. Now if you can, hands come behind your middle skull, and we repeat that, making it a little bit bigger. So I'm focusing right now on the ribs parting. Squeeze the imaginary ball all the way back up. It's not about your head doing this movement. Across and all the way back up. And again, coming across and all the way back up. And across, laterally flexing and all the way back up. We're going to make this a little more progressive by taking the roller, exactly the same movements, but this time we're going to put the roller onto the top of our skull. So with the roller on top of the skull, you can really think about being beautifully long and lengthened. Squeeze your legs together if you can. If you need to, you can always sit in a diamond leg position. Relax your shoulders down your back, but imagine that you're pulling slightly down on the roller, just very subtly, but pushing and lengthening up as we begin that rotation again. Remember what it felt like not to round your shoulders forwards. Remember what it felt like to move from your middle back. So I'm not pulling my elbows back. Remember the importance of your front arm. Front arm very influential as well. Don't just think about your arm that is drawing backwards. And we'll just do one more each side, to the side and back, and to the side and back. Now lateral flexion, coming up to come over. Now push into that roller as you bring it all the way back up. So as I go across to my left, I'm pushing my right seat bone down. Lengthen that seat bone. And again, coming up and over. As I go to the right, I'm pushing my left seat bone down. As I go to the left, I'm opening those right ribs and squeezing those legs together. And we'll just do one more, all the way over, all the way back, and then just place your roller down. We're going to massage the back out after all those extensions and rotations. So place the roller at the base of your shoulder blades again, hands clasped behind the middle skull. Draw your hip bones lightly backwards and lift your hips up as you just roll out your back, just briefly. Rolling, keeping those elbows perhaps a little closer towards the temples, and breathing all the time as you do this. Try to keep your arms working as a pair, your legs working as a pair. You can move the weight just a little to one side of the spine if that feels good, and then a little to the other side of the spine. Whatever you do on one side, make sure that you do it on the other. Keep breathing, pause with the roller about the base of your shoulder blades, allow the bottom to come down, reach one leg, reach the other, arms come forwards, and just as you did a moment ago, take a little stretch forwards. Restack low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. Now bring the roller around, and we're going to move into a little bit of plank. So thinking stability work now. So whenever you're ready, you're going to place that roller across your mat, take each of your hands onto the roller and each of your knees under your hip sockets. Remember, we've been working on trying to focus more onto almost the outside edge of the hand. Not that you're off the inside edge, but very much the outside edge is going to encourage us more into the back of the body through the arm. And so slowly from there, begin to find your neutral spine, and if that means a little backward pelvic tilt, a little forward pelvic tilt, find your midway point, then please take the time to do so. Now my bottom ribs are lightly in, my ribs are just drawn, this is very subtly in. And at the same time I'm breathing wide and full and allowing my shoulder blades to be softly down my back. Tuck your toes gently underneath you. Don't let anything change. As you exhale, you simply hover off the floor with your knees. Slowly from there, allow it to come back down, take a rest if you need to. We're going to repeat. So whenever you're ready, again, prepare, good bony alignment, and you're going to hover up. Now if you can from here, we're going to add a little bit to this. So you're now going to reach one leg out, reach the other leg out, and hold. You can bring it back in, and knees can come back down. Maybe that's enough for you, maybe you take a little break there. If you want a little progression, we're going to think again, good bony alignment, bottom ribs gently in, lovely long neck. Inhale to prepare and hover. Remember, we're still maintaining a neutral spine. Try to find the outside edges more towards the outside edges of your hands. Reach one leg, reach the other. Hold. Progression, outside, outside, in. Back in, hold. One leg out, other leg out, outside mat, inside, back in, hold. If you need breaks, please take them. Back with the feet, out with the feet, in with the feet, back underneath you. We'll just do one more set. Out to the edges of your mat, to the center, and back in. Hold, and quietly allow yourself to come down. Take a little stretch if that feels good. You can just roll out those forearms. And whenever you're ready, you're going to just pause and stretch. And allow yourself to come down onto your tummy for a little bit of swan. Now please be careful when you're doing the swan that if you've got a chunkier mat like this, you're not having to pull the roller over the edge of your mat. So we're going to begin, and if you don't want to use the roller for this because it's hard with the arms, you can just ditch the roller and try and do everything without the roller. So from here, we're going to reach our arms out. I have the roller a little above my wrist. You can play about with the positioning of that. And my palms are facing each other. Soften your shoulder blades. They are softly down your back. The legs lengthen away from you and your pubic bone becomes a little more weighted. Begin by just allowing your head to come up a little and allowing your eyes to look forwards. Feel the roller slightly draws towards you there and bring it all the way back down. And again, inhale to prepare. As you exhale, lift head, neck and chest. The shoulder blades are softly down your back. Then allow your eyes just to look a little forwards. It's almost the eyes that are initiating your movement. You can start to feel that the upper arm is beginning to help and assist with stability. Inhale again, and as you exhale this time, bringing the head, neck and chest up. Let the eyes begin to look forwards. We draw the roller in. We're not going to come too far. And just pause at a position that feels good to you. Let it come all the way back down again. And again, try one more of these. Inhale to prepare, length through your thigh bones. Don't overthink it. Stable shoulders. Think about all your bony alignment. The bottom ribs gently push forwards and up. Eyes are looking forwards and all the way back down. Now if you're finding this is easy, then we're going to try a little single arm. So you're going to slowly from here, lift the head, neck and chest. The eyes look forwards, the pubic bone becomes weighted. We're going to pause on one arm and bring your other around. Bringing it back and all the way back down. And again, the head comes up. Shortening that middle upper back, pause with the new hand. Imagine you're trying to look around to something behind you. Your gaze is really important. We're going to do one more of these each side. Inhale to prepare, eyes, head, neck and chest lift, eyes gaze forwards. Slowly lifting up, and we take it out and around and looking over my shoulder. Hand comes back. And all the way back down. Last one. Readjust that arm position if required. Head, neck and chest lifts. Eyes begin to look forwards as we come all the way up. Now is one side easier than the other? As you look over your shoulder, all the way back and bring it all the way back down. Now I want you to take your roller around behind you. And we're just going to gently hold on to it. And I want you just to think about reaching it down as long as you can manage and open your collarbones. And you're just going to hold and breathe. And you're going to slowly from there allow your head, neck and chest to come up just a little. Collarbones are open. And I want you to lift the roller ever so slightly off your bottom. Push your thigh bones long and lengthened. And we're going to go into a little swimming with just our legs. So with open collarbones we kick, 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 kick. Now really focus on the length. I'm not gripping the roller too hard. The length in my entire spine. The kicking coming from your thigh bones and from a stable pelvis. Keep that roller gently up and off your bottom. We'll just kick, 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 kick. Pause. Lift up a little. Allow everything to come down for a moment. And now you're going to take your roller. You're going to hold it in your palms. If you can, lift it a little higher. And slowly from there, draw your thigh bones towards each other until your heels meet. Keep thinking external rotation of your upper thigh bone within that very stable pelvis. Push the roller in your mind away from you. We're going to do some little heel beats. And we're going to beat our heels together for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause, reach. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Reach those thigh bones away from you. And glue the upper inner thigh together. Last one, keep that roller up. And again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reach. And allow it to come down. Carefully bring your roller around. Just popping it in front of you. And slowly push yourself all the way up. Take a little stretch. Reaching in front of you, perhaps to the side as we always do, lifting that seat bone up and over. And again, lifting up and over. And going back into the arms just for a moment, we're just going to work our triceps for a second. So again, we're going to use the roller, and we're going to come back into our little box position. Now slowly from there, I want you to leave one hand on, neutral spine, bring the other hand behind your back. Now all I'm going to do is bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Now notice how my back is staying exactly as it is all the time. I'm not allowing my tail to curl under, and I'm imagining my elbow coming down towards the floor. Neck stays really long and lengthened. Down and push up. Down and push up. Wrist is getting a little bit of a break. It's relatively straight. Down and up. Down and up. Down and up. We'll take it to the other side. Bringing your other hand behind. Down and up. Down and up. So try and focus on that tricep area. Down and up. Down and up. We'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to hold it down there and do tiny little pulses. Up, down, up, down, up and down, up and down, up, down, up, down for 3 and 2 and 1. And push it all the way up. We'll go back to the other hand. Make sure that the roller stays quite far away from you. That'll make it more challenging. Down, come up a little touch, down and up. Try and keep that roller a little further away from you and you'll find it a little more challenging. Down, up, down, up. We'll do 6, down, 5, down, 4, down, 3, down, 2, down, 1 and down. Bring both hands on and slowly bring it all the way back to seated. So if you can, I want you to sit on your thighs like this, or your thighs are our focal point, sitting onto our heels. And all I want you to do is lift one thigh, lower it back down, lift the other, lower, lift, lower, lift and lower, lift, lower, lift and lower. I'm going to do this facing this way, just so you can really see what we're trying to do here. Spine stays beautifully long and lengthened, lift one, lower, lift the other, lower, lift, lift. So do you find that you're tipping to one side when you lift one up? Think about what we're actually doing here. We're working into our ankles, trying to get our ankles to open and lengthen. Lift and lift. So just compare left to right. I'll come back to this position again, and we lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Then we're simply going to come up, tuck the toes under, push down, lift up, tuck, down, straight up, tuck, push down. It's wonderful work for your feet and ankles. Lift, tuck, lower, lift, tuck, lower. We'll do a couple more, lower, last one, and lower. Slowly from there, bring it around, and we're going to do some abdominals. So we're going to take the roller carefully, and we've done this in some of the group classes before. Please, if it's too challenging for you, just keep your head down and work on your inner thighs. And you can just squeeze the roller with your inner thighs, taking little breaks whenever you need to. So you can modify and find little variations of difficulty throughout. But if you can, I'm just going to hold it as we take a little roll down. And we're going to slowly from there place one leg into bent knee position. Remember, engage your abdominals on every transition. Lift the other. And now place your roller in between your knees and your ankles, your arches, wherever you find is comfortable. And we want to try and have the same amount of roller above your knees and beneath your feet. And feel in this position how you can actually squeeze with your upper inner thigh the roller to get some activity through our inner thighs. So slowly from there, also be aware of your tail. You don't want a big arch coming into your low back. So try to think about your tail with a little gold hook on it and a gold thread attached up to a little pulley on the ceiling. And I'm going to turn a tiny handle on that little pulley that will lift your tail up 1 millimeter. And that should be activating your stomach now, so that your stomach is holding your leg up here and not your hip flexor. If you're getting tired, take breaks and just take your feet down to the floor. If you can, we progress. Hands behind your middle skull. Thumbs down both sides of the neck if that's comfortable, elbows into peripheral vision. Now, bottom ribs are down, tail has been lifted by that gold thread 1 millimeter. And we're simply going to do a lovely little chest lift all the way up and slowly let it come all the way back down. A little chest lift to bring it up. Now, if you want to squeeze the roller up there, please do, and bring it back down. So a little tiny bit of length at the back of the neck, lift, 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 and lower back down. Notice how I'm trying to keep my thigh bones absolutely vertical. And when we do this flexion, I want you to think about that wheel that we've been thinking about, the wheel turning of the upper body. Don't club that chin into chest too much. Now, if you can, you're going to lift your head, neck and chest. You're going to pull that roller a little more towards you. And then as you take your head, neck and chest down, you can take the legs a little further away from you. So we come up, 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 up. Roller to nose, nose to roller, and you only take that roller away from you as far as you can control your lower back. Now I am constantly, while I take that roller away from me, thinking about the gold thread, and it is continuously lifting my little tail up. So although the legs are moving away from me, I don't let my tail start to go down towards the floor. That's going to be what is your little saviour. It's going to help your back if you can control your tail. So if you want maximum range, squeeze those thigh bones. I can take my head down and I can tap the roller to the floor. Only if you're really managing to control this. Now take a little break if you wish. But otherwise, we're going to hold it up here and pause. And now I want you to think about crisscross. So you're going to rotate across as though your elbow were able to come to the opposite side of your roller. So elbow towards opposite side of roller. Now keep squeezing the roller. We come up and over and back down. Up and over and back down. Now if you're managing this okay, we're going to come up and over, bring it down, stick on that side, up and over and down. Up and over and down. We'll do 4 the other side, up and over and down. Up and over, keep squeezing all the time, up and over and down. Now we can add to this. So up and over, new side. As you come down, the roller comes down and then we switch. And the roller comes towards the floor. Switch that crisscross. Think middle back rotation, squeeze from the upper inner thigh, not just your knees. And up and over, great for the obliques. And up and over, we'll do 1 more each side. Keep squeezing those rollers. Last one, up and over. Now take a break if you need it. But if you can, you're going to straighten that leg, those legs up towards the ceiling. So your roller is now dangling down and I'm squeezing it with my feet. If your neck is tired, you can take a little break and just hold. But if you can, we're going to bring the head, neck and chest up. First finger and thumb make a diamond and we're going to push that diamond shape up and down a little. 4, 7 and down a little. 6 and down, squeeze the roller. 5 and down. Have the top of your roller in between your diamond shape. I've lost count. We'll do 4 more. 4 and down. Do your feet look even? 3 and down. Are you breathing? Is the gold thread still lifting your tail slightly? Hold, bend your knees, let it come down and just take a little moment. You can put the roller down by your sides. You might want to just keep a little hug in for a moment. Ooh, not letting my roller go away. And then I'm just going to put it in between my heels and my bottom when I'm ready. So if you feel that you need to just roll your neck a couple of times because it's feeling a little tight after that, then please do. Now slowly from there, whenever you feel ready, you're going to take your roller, you're going to make sure that it feels pretty much even, left to right. Your head is nice and flat, no blocks or anything underneath your head. And you're going to slowly just curl your tail all the way up, 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 into a little bridge. And you're going to melt your spine all the way back down again. And again, hip bones come back. Imagine you're curling your tail up. And I want you to really think about this lovely open sensation through the front of your hip bones. Remember your little seat bone headlights, flip them into full beam. You should feel the bottom working. You should feel your hamstrings working. And lay the bones all the way back down. Just 1 more. Tip your hip bones lightly backwards, lifting all the way up. And this time, pull that roller right underneath your hips. You should be quite familiar now with the correct position. And make sure you feel really comfortable here. It's not directly underneath your waist. It's not down by your tail. A nice comfortable position in between. Now, keeping your abdominal wall, supporting your back, lift 1 leg to bent knee, lift the other leg to bent knee. And slowly from there, reach the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Come into a little external rotation without having your legs back here, so I don't want to see them back here. They're absolutely vertical. And you're going to, in that external rotation, take your legs out to the side. Now, if you feel okay with it, you can bend your knees a little. Take your hands onto your outer thighs and just enjoy a stretch there. Allow your tail to slightly pour over the front edge of the roller to stop you from overly flexing. So the last thing you want to think about here is the wheel going backwards. You want to keep your pelvis nice and stable. If your wheel starts to go backwards, you're going to tuck your tail and push the roller away from you. So just feeling this lovely inner thigh stretch. You can work with a lovely long leg, or you can get a deeper stretch with a knee bend and just pulling a little with your hands on the inside edge of your inner thigh. And then slowly from there, I'm just going to take my arms out to T because it's a nice comfortable position. Reach those legs beautifully long and hold them directly above. If you would rather hold your roller, then please do. And all I want you to simply do from there is come into external rotation again and cross one over the other. And you're going to cross and cross and cross and cross. Now if you can, we're going to start to take that little crossing action down as far as you can control this. And then we're going to come back up again. You're in an external rotation, moving from your thigh bones. And we'll go down and down and down and down, down and down, only as far as you can manage, and back up and back up and back up and back up, all the way back and pause. Parallel. Allow one leg to come down and you control as you bring it back up. So as you take the leg down, you're not letting your back overly arch, you're not letting your pelvis become a forward wheel. And as it comes back up, you're not letting your pelvis become a backward wheel. We're trying to keep that pelvis absolutely stable. And we'll just do one more, reach, and back up. Now take a little bend into one. You can either hold over the top of the knee or underneath if you have any knee issues. And you're going to slowly start to allow the other leg to reach all the way out, feeling a lovely stretch. Now we're going to pull it in and think about a single leg bicycle. We're going to reach it out and all the way back in and up. Reach it out, all the way back in and up. Now we're going to go the other way. So push it away, lift up, control the pelvis. Push it away, lift, control. One more, reach, lift and pause. Slowly from there, you're going to think about a little hamstring stretch. So start to bring that leg in towards you. You can reach the other away as far as it feels good to you. And I'm now thinking about my pelvis going forwards. You can flex your ankle and get a stretch that really does work for you. And then slowly, you're going to hold the new leg and you're going to think about just reaching the other leg away from you. And we're going to bring it in, reach and down. So you're thinking about that bicycle, just 3 of these, reach and up, and reach and up. Now we're going to go the other way. So we push away, notice how I'm scraping the floor, up and again, scrape the floor. And just one more, and scrape that floor. Now slowly from there, the hands are going to come to the leg that's just been doing the bicycle. You're going to lift it up towards you and reach the other leg away from you. And try and draw that leg in towards you. It doesn't matter if the knee is a little bent. Flex through your ankle if you want to progress it, to intensify it. Relax your shoulder blades. Hold and breathe. Really reach that leg away from you. And then slowly we're just going to bring that outstretched leg in. Find a little figure 4 if you can. You might want to hold on to the ends of your roller. And from there, take a little stretch across in the opposite direction to that you are stretching. So you should feel this lovely stretch in and around the piriformis and gluteal region. We can go one more of these. I'm still focusing on pushing my pelvis a little forward, so a slow visual of a wheel moving forwards now. And all the way back, and we'll switch to the other side. If you would prefer, you can take your foot down to the floor and just play about with it on the floor. But if you can, we'll keep the leg lifted. Across to the side and bringing it back. And again, keep breathing. Remember your opposite shoulder blade always firmly down on the ground. And all the way back, and just hug in for a moment. And then slowly from there, if you wish, you don't have to, but if you wish, we're going to do a little roll over. So I'm going to take the arms either side of my hips, drawing the legs back, open the collarbones, come up to come over, flex deeply through your ankles, lay the bones down. And if you wish, you can circle a little away, bringing it up, only coming back as you feel the weight on your shoulders, not your neck. Part the legs shoulder width apart, flex deeply through your ankles. Now here lies a little option for you if you wish. If this is easy for you, then I'd like you to come all the way up and over, push your roller away, bring your arms to the floor, part your legs, and lay it down, 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 down. Only if rollover is easy for you. And we'll come up to come over, part those legs, lovely straight legs if the hamstrings allow. And we'll just do one more. Now remember, if you decided to keep your roller, then please do keep the roller under the hips. All the way down, bring your knees in, hug in, perhaps a little thigh bone circle one way, a little thigh bone circle the other way, and a moment just to relax the whole body. Now from there, hands can come behind your knees, lift your head, neck and chest up, just feel a little bit of just everything flexing. I want you to really focus on your wheel in your pelvis going backwards, your wheel in your upper body going forwards, holding and breathing. And then slowly from there, you can begin a little rocking action. And whenever you're ready, you come all the way up, and we're just going to place our roller lengthways. So from here, pop up and onto your roller. Make sure that the roller is even on your mat, so be careful that it doesn't move around as well. Sometimes rollers like to move on your mat, depending on how stable your floors are or how level your floors are. So really make sure that it's not wanting to shift you from one side or the other. And then slowly from there, however works best for you, bring it all the way down, 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 and rest your head. So take a moment, level sacrum, nice centered shoulder blades, and your head is absolutely in the center of the roller, or your skull is centered. And then slowly from there, think about the little gold thread on your tail again. And it might just lift the tail up a tiny touch to level out your sacrum. And the bottom ribs gently pull down. And on your next exhale, you're simply going to lift one leg up to a bent knee position. What has happened? Have you hiked a hip? Have you felt more pressure on one arm than the other? Lifting the other. Try and keep your feet nice and relaxed, but also be aware as you just slowly exchange left to right. Be aware of your big toe in particular on your standing foot. So that might encourage you to think a little bit more about your inner thighs. And we'll just do one more each side. Keep thinking length in the spine. Remember what it felt like to push your head into the roller. And on this next one, you're going to pause. Keep that leg there. Bottom ribs are down, tail slightly lifted. Pick your other leg up. Now, only if you feel it is appropriate to you, do you take one leg halfway towards the floor and bring it back up. The other leg halfway and back up. We go halfway and back up. Now if you feel you can, without tightening behind your knee, so I want you to always feel like you're reaching a little away from you. You can take that foot down towards the floor, but only if the stomach isn't bulging, that the shoulders aren't rounding forwards, that you can still keep that length in your spine. We'll do one more each side, and down, 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 and all the way back up. Allow your heels to drop down. One foot comes down, other foot comes down. Bring your arms all the way up. Palms are going to face each other. And I simply want you to reach up towards the ceiling, feeling your shoulders pull away from your spine, and gently let your shoulders soften down and feel how the shoulder blades draw around your spine and around the roller. So we pull apart, protraction of the shoulder blades, retraction of the shoulder blades. Pull them apart just gently and let them hug the roller, hug the spine. Pulling apart and pulling towards the spine. We'll just do a couple more. And down, one last one. Keep the arms as straight as you can and down. Now simply from there, one overhead, one down by our sides. A little scissor and scissor. Now currently my palms are facing each other, and I want you to pause straight up, spin the palms so they face behind you, and repeat. Just moving around the different positions of the palm and the shoulder in its socket. Are you still feeling your big toes on both sides? One more, and pause, palms face away from you again. Take it all the way back behind you. Then all the way around, 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 and all the way back. Feel the backs of your hands. Circle all the way around and back. Circle all the way around, 3, then the other way. Up and over, and all the way down. Spin the palms all the way up and over. Careful of those bottom ribs. All the way up and over, and pause, palms face. All the way out to the side, a little T position now, holding and breathing. And then we're going to bring them up and overhead, and then all the way down by our sides. So it's like little snow angels, up and overhead, and all the way down by our sides. One more, up and overhead, and all the way down by our sides. Bring them all the way up, palms face away. Bend at your elbows, so you've now made a little goalpost position, and see if you can let those elbows come down towards the floor. If it's possible, let the upper arm bone, that's fingertip to elbow, just rest on the floor behind you. If you're here, that's absolutely fine, but our goal is just to allow this lovely opening of the chest. You could just slide the arms a little up through the fingertips, and slide the elbows down a little, trying to keep your arms as close to the floor throughout. And down, keep focusing on the front of your chest. Last one. Can you still feel your big toes? And down, and then just reach the arms all the way out and down by your sides. Carefully lift your head, neck and chest up and reach those fingertips away from you. And lay the head, neck and chest back down. And again, lift your head, neck and chest all the way up. Reach, if you can, the fingertips away from you. And all the way back down. Squeeze in your mind your inner thighs towards each other. Lift, 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 lift. And lower, lower, lower. We're going to do one more. A little bit of length at the back of the neck. Slide your hands away from you. Lifting. And lower back down. Now you might want to stay at this level, but if you can, you're going to lift your head, neck and chest up, pull your hands back, push yourself up a little. Maneuver yourself, I'm just going to bring mine forward so you can see, a little further back, so that when you come back down onto the roller, you have round about, clasp your hands behind the middle skull if you need more support, round about the middle of your shoulder blades there or thereabouts at the edge of your roller. Now I've brought my feet together so that my ankles just hug the end of the roller, squeezing my knees a little towards each other as though I were holding the roller again between my thighs. Now from here, think back to the earliest exercise we did, extensions. I'm going to tip my hips back ever so slightly as we wrap up and around the edge of the roller. Create length at the back of the neck and pick your head, your neck, your chest all the way back up. Now if this is really difficult with your feet that close, take your feet a little further apart. It'll give you more stability. Lengthen the spine first and wrap around the edge of the roller. Length at the back of the neck and pick your head, your neck, your chest up. And again, lengthen and up to come over. Now if you want to make this more challenging, we lift, and you can lift one leg up. Then as the leg comes down, we wrap up and around the end of the roller. Length at the back of the neck, and slowly as you lift, you can pick your other leg up. Lowering that foot down, taking your head, neck and chest back, wrap around the roller. We'll do one more of these each side. So slowly we lift, and place the foot down and wrap up and around the edge of the roller. Last one. If it doesn't feel good, please don't do it. Lift, and all the way back down. Now slowly from there, carefully lift your head, neck and chest up. Bring your hands down, pull them back, and just push yourself straight up. And you're going to spin the roller around again, and we're just going to have another little massage. So just clasp your hands behind the middle skull and start to massage your back. Just as you did at the beginning. Make it something nice, make it pleasant. Try and keep your feet working as a pair. Bring your elbows in towards your temples, and again you can tip a little to one side if you wish, and a little towards the other side. So I have just one last little thing to do. And you're going to pause with the roller about the base of the shoulder blades. You can reach one leg, reach the other. Bring the arms forwards, tip the hip bones backwards. Pull your seat bones out from underneath your bottom. Take a little stretch. If it feels good, pull the toes towards you and feel your hamstrings and the backs, the Achilles and the calves stretch out. Restack low back, middle back, upper back and eyes. So we're just going to do one final little exercise. I want you to place your roller pretty much at the edge of your mat and rest your top leg onto it. Now slowly from there, and I'm beginning with you'll maybe have to play about with the positioning. I'm going to rest down and I'm going to clasp my hands pretty much behind my skull so that I can rest down like so. You don't have to come all the way down if it's uncomfortable. You can use your hand just to keep your head in alignment with the rest of the spine. Now you can push the roller up towards the inner thigh, pull it back. Push the roller towards the inner thigh and back. One more, push it up and all the way back. Now slowly from there, think book openings. You're going to close the top elbow down and you're going to start to open. And we're not going all the way back here. We're just going as far as feels comfortable. Now your top seat bone, push it away from you as you pull that top elbow back and towards the floor. And then slowly the elbow assists. Make sure your eyes are moving with you and push that roller out. Bringing it all the way back and all the way up and over. Now my top seat bone, it is critical that you're pushing it away, creating this lovely length. And again, you can push away and all the way back in and open. Now from there, you can release the arms out to the side. You can take your hand onto your thigh bone, the outside edge of the thigh bone. I am still pushing my seat bone away from me, and I'm giving myself almost a little bit of traction, pushing almost the thigh bone a little away from me, and my opposite arm eyes looking towards the outstretched arm, and that should feel like a really lovely stretch. Slowly from there, carefully roll over, take your leg off, push yourself carefully up, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. You should feel that in your middle back, your hip will get a nice little stretch. So place the roller down, rest your leg on it. I notice that if I bring it too high, the leg up the roller moves a little. So this time maybe don't have it quite so far away from you. And again, just clasp the hands or as comfortable as it feels for you. I'm always thinking about pushing this top seat bone away from me. And then just slowly feel that little massage and bring it back. So we massage and bring it back. Just 3 of these, pushing the roller towards your upper inner thigh, and then just rest the upper body. There's no tension as you slowly begin to let the head find the floor. We open out, don't force. Send that seat bone on the top leg away from you. Try and keep the leg as close to the roller as you can manage. And then slowly push your seat bone away from you on the top leg and reach the leg away from you all the way back, up and over. And try to get a little bit of flow going. So you might find that one side is tighter than the other. Really think about how relaxed your neck is. And just last one, pushing out all the way back, and pause. And then I'm going to release my hands from behind my head, taking the arms out to the side. Top hand goes onto that top thigh bone. You can draw it in a little if you wish, but I am constantly thinking about pushing that seat bone away from me. This shoulder blade, try and get it down towards the floor and lengthen, just as you would if you were doing a spine twist. Can you roll your eyes towards your outstretched hand? Use them to encourage length everywhere. And then slowly from there, bringing yourself back over, allow yourself to come all the way back up. And you can just sit for a moment, if you wish, onto your roller. Take a moment, shut your eyes, lengthen your spine, squeeze your thigh bones a little towards each other. Inhale into the back and the base of the lungs, and exhale, allow your shoulder blades to feel heavy. Thank you so much, and I'll be back really soon. Take care.